Hey, so you clicked on this video because you want a bad car to bomb down the freeway and so you can just drive around looking cool as because you got 4 doors, alright? Well, good thing you clicked on this video because I have five cars that are fucking sick, man, and they're gonna make you look so cool. And yeah, make sure you watch until the end of the video because the last car is my favorite and it's actually dope as shit. And it's surprisingly underpriced. I'm really not sure why they're so cheap. Okay, the first car on our list is the BMW E46 330i. Now, this bad boy had a 3-liter straight 6, which was naturally aspirated, and yet cranked out 225 horsepower, 214 pound-feet of torque. Now, all that German power is sent through a 5 or a 6-speed transmission, depending on, I don't know what they picked out when they bought it new. And for the sedan, it varies from 3,100 to 3,500 pounds. So apparently there was a rear-wheel drive version. Obviously, it's a BMW. And then there was also a all-wheel drive version, the 330xi. And this is 3,500 pounds. Somehow adding 2 axles in the front adds 400 pounds. I don't really understand it. But yeah, you could get the all-wheel drive one. Most of these cars have an all-wheel drive version, and you know, if you really want an all-wheel drive BMW, I don't know, that's kind of weird. I would just buy an Audi at that point. So let's take a look at the Audi then. Alright, the Audi on our list is the second generation of the Audi A4, otherwise known as the B6. And specifically, I think you should get the 1.8T, because that's the one that everyone says, oh dude, these engines are bulletproof, man. You can make 1 billion horsepower. So that's why I'm recommending it, because other people say it's a great engine. I mean, you could literally look it up and, like, on YouTube, someone in the comments, probably on this video, someone in the comments would be like, dude, those Audis are so stout, man, they'll fucking last forever. Like, alright, bro, whatever, I get it. So the engine was a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder turbo, and it cranked around 180 horsepower. I mean, it changes throughout the multiple years, so, you know, depending on the year. But on average, you'll have around 180 horsepower, and that's sent to wheels through a 5 or 6-speed transmission. And the reason I say wheels is because not all Audis are all-wheel drive. Maybe you already knew this. I didn't know this till like 2 years ago. So what the hell, man? Yeah, but they're mostly front-wheel drive. And then if you get the all-wheel drive version, Quattro, then you get all-wheel drive. So the front-wheel drive version weighed in at 3,250 and the all-wheel drive was 3,400. So take your pick. I would definitely go for the all-wheel drive. If you buy a front-wheel drive Audi, it's just sad, man. Like, I mean, it's fair because you probably think it's all-wheel drive, so, you know, you can still have fun pretending. But once you find out it's front-wheel drive, you'll just be depressed. So I would go for the all-wheel drive, avoid that depression. And moving right along, we have the Volvo S60 2.5T. Now, specifically, I'm talking about the first generation, and this 2.5T had a 2.5-liter, 5-cylinder, turbocharged engine. Now this bad boy was cranking out 207 horsepowers and 236 foot-pounds of torque, which is not bad. Now this is sent through a 5 or 6-speed manual again, and it weighs around 3,400 to 3,600 pounds. Depends on the version you get, because exactly like the Audi, it has a front-wheel drive and an all-wheel drive version. So obviously the front-wheel drive is lighter. It's about 3,400 pounds, and then the all-wheel drive is 3,600 pounds. I would definitely go for the all-wheel drive again. I mean, you don't want to be stuck with front-wheel drive once you're pushing 1 million horsepower or whatever. I mean, sure, you could swap it, but all-wheel drive is just cooler. If it snows or rains or has dirt where you live, then it'll be more fun to have something all-wheel drive. You can get that oversteer, man. Okay, the next car is the first generation of the Acura TSX. Now, I like to think of this thing as like a IS300, but wrong wheel drive because, you know, Acura, Lexus, kind of similar, and they're very handsome cars, but also sort of small and light, like a nice sports car. And they're also a bit underrated, I want to say, because they're a bit understated. They're not super flashy in their styling, but they're very handsome. So, you know, you could definitely like daily it and put some good mods on it to make it look even better. and you wouldn't look like you're trying to show off or anything. So anyways, this thing had a K series engine, which was a K24. So it's a 2.4 liter straight 4, which had VTEC, obviously. And that thing manages to crank out 200 horsepower. I believe it was 205 on the later years, but you're not going to notice that, 5 horsepower. And then it was like 168 foot-pounds of torque. So a bit low on the torque there, but you got VTEC, so it'll be exciting. And then this power is sent through a 6-speed manual. There was no 5-speed, just a 6-speed, so amen for that. And then the car weighs about 3,400 pounds, so that's pretty, I mean, that's a bit lighter than some of the other cars, but again, it is wrong-wheel drive. Only car on this list to not offer power to those rear wheels, which is really crucial. I mean, front-wheel drive can still be kind of cool if you like that sort of thing, but you know, that's not for me, so I would go with this last car. This is the 3rd generation of the Infiniti G35, and this thing, if it wasn't obvious, it has a 3.5 liter. It's also a VQ engine like the 350Z, 370Z. So yeah, I mean, it's very reliable and it's very cool, man. Like, these things are actually sick. Like, 370s are cool, right? But their styling's a bit, kind of look like a piece of shit. But honestly, the G35 is just better looking and it's way cooler. Now, this thing came standard as rear-wheel drive. You could also get a limited slip differential, which I didn't mention on the other cars, but I'm sure there is some type of limited slip. It's hard to find out actually on like Wikipedia, but this one I know did. And the interesting thing is it also had an all-wheel drive version. However, that did not come with a manual option. Automatic only. So that's a bit of a shame. I don't want to talk about this car too much because yesterday I actually made this video where I go into some more cars that are rear-wheel drive, and there's actually another car that I could have included on this list, but I didn't, and I left it for you to go watch that video. So go ahead and click up there, click up there. Oh.